Hello everyone and welcome back to DMG. Today I'm going to be doing a teardown of this HD 5870 engineering sample. Now, disclaimer, I've recorded this video before, but my camera died halfway through. I didn't notice and it didn't save the footage. So I know what the inside looks like already, but I wanted to show it to everyone else with the disassembly. So I put the card back together and I'm going to be re-disassembling it. So if it seems like I know what's going on, it's because I do. So first, I missed these two the first time. I've got these two screws by the bracket. And these just hold the shroud to the edge of the bracket. So I'll just set those there. Then on the back of the card we have a lot. We have like 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 screws. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out, like fully unscrew them, but leave them in the back plate so that once I lift it off, I know where they all go. Because there are like 2 or 3 different lengths of screw on this card. Okay, so now that that's off, we should be able to just lift it out. Feels like this screw isn't as out as it should be. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so see, all of the screws are still in the back plate. I can just set that down there because I will need that later. Here's your board. Now something I did notice. I'm going to, whoop. That screw is still on the screwdriver. Something I did notice, see these labels? I'm going to put a picture on screen of the back of a card from Tech Power Up. The labels are in different places, and the one from Tech Power Up lacks some of the labels that this one has. So, that's one indicator that this card has something a bit different going on. Next thing is this X thing. This is what actually, smaller bit, this is what actually holds the GPU die to the heatsink. Now it's normal for these to spring up when you take them out because it has springs on the end of the screws to hold it together with enough tension. Now, you always want to do these diagonally. Start with one corner, then do the opposite corner. You don't want to do them around because that could end up putting too much pressure on one area of the die. Now, this is a general rule for all GPUs. You want to slowly peel the heatsink assembly off of the board. There we go. So, okay, so that wasn't too bad. The thermal pads didn't tear too much because you want those intact. Then gently separate the fan header from the board. There we go. Here is our board. Now, from what I could find, this looks exactly like the reference normal HD 5870. I am noticing one thing. The picture has a little thing on that clip, and on mine it looks like it has been broken off. I assume that was just an accident from pulling it out of something too fast. The interesting thing is, doesn't look like there are any visible sensors, so they must be embedded somewhere and just read through software. Or even more interestingly, they could be present on all cards and just disabled in the BIOS so that it doesn't read them or something. Now this is some very dry, crusty thermal paste. So, I mean, literally just a paper towel would be enough to get it off. I'm going to see if I can't get that off really quickly. Okay, ideally the way you should do this is with isopropyl alcohol and some Q-tips, but I want to do it just enough to be able to see the markings on the die. Okay. I'm going to zoom that in so you can get a clearer shot of the die. There we go. So I'll read those off really quickly too. ATI looks like 0945, made in Taiwan, N14810.00, and then under that it has a number that looks printed on instead of etched into the die, which is interesting. That reads 21507350333. I'm gonna take a more detailed picture of the die and put it on screen. So the one on Tech Power Up looks like it says 0936 on the die. So it could just be that that's the serial number and everyone is different. Or it could be that there's something actually different about this card. Yeah, so that's a bit interesting. Next step, I'm going to disassemble the heatsink. I hadn't looked at the die, as you could see by the thermal paste, or disassembled the heatsink yet. So I bet there's going to be a lot of dust in here, and I apologize for that. Or actually, judging by how clean this card was, it probably didn't see daily use in someone's PC. So, you know, it'll probably be a relatively clean boy. And even with that dry, crusty thermal paste, it was getting decent temperatures, so it could be totally fine and not in need of any replacement. I don't have another 5870 to compare this with, of course, because that's not quite in my budget. But if anyone in the description has one of these, or, you know, something like that, knows more about these cards, I would love to know if what I am about to find is standard. Okay, here we go. Okay, it feels like that needs to come out more. I think that's it. Yes. Okay, so here's the inside of our shroud. Here's the air guide. Guides it towards the little vent on the back plate. There's our intake, our lovely engineering sample sticker. We can set that aside. Okay, I don't want to turn it all the way upside down, but here is our heatsink assembly. That is beefy. Look at that. 4 heat pipes. And then, whoa, there's a tiny little heat pipe right there for the VRMs. Okay, I think all the screws are the same size, so I'm safe to do that. That's very cool. I don't know why they would have a heat pipe for the VRMs instead of just putting like the metal casing go over it. Actually, that could be an engineering sample thing. I don't know if that's standard. So, because this model had like the VRM sensors, there could be additional VRM cooling. Could be wrong, but I'm just trying to make some connections here. Okay, that's really cool. Even if it is just a normal card, I'm glad I opened this up to see the heatsink. And all of our tiny screws fell out, okay. Oh look, they put a screw holder right here. How nice of you, ATI. Okay, that's the end of this video. If anyone has more details on this card, I will make a, at this point, what, 4th video on this card, because that is truly quite interesting. But yes, thank you everyone for watching. That's it for this video. See you next time.